Like I said, we actually use 5,000 litres a day just for cooling some churns. We have got a borehole which we can use for some of the jobs, but we can't use it for all. Our main usage is gas to run our boilers, because without steam, I can't make any of the cheese without steam at all.
The ice cream manufacturing is an energy-intensive business, so we have used building roofs and also some of the land of the farm to put solar panels on, which are generating electricity to help with the generation of the ice cream. That's something that needs much more work. It's not complete by any means.
The Exeter team constructed models of how energy, water, materials and other resources were currently flowing within businesses. And these current state models were developed into computer simulations.
The process starts with visiting the companies first and understanding their process flow. So for example, if it is a dairy farm, we go and look at, for example, the milking parlour, the processes associated with the production of milk and ice cream, if that is the case.
The point of a current state map is to capture the process, flows, materials and stakeholders in any type of system. The way we did that here, we had a portable mapping system which I carried, and using post-it notes and pens we drew with the various firms their particular flow of suppliers, processes and materials. Having created the current state map, we then found where the bottlenecks were, and from there we could spot where the hotspot areas where we could zoom in and improve.
The computer model then uses this data from their system, the processes, and then runs some experiments to show them that what is achievable. So it is a way of experimenting before implementing a decision.
System dynamics modeling or systems thinking is a methodology, an approach for simulating complexity and complex systems where direct analytic process doesn't exist or is very hard to find. It works by building the whole model along feedback loops, where one component interacts with the other and we have feedback from this interaction. So it was very appropriate to use it for the dairy farms in order to have the feedback on the whole system by the water or energy or nutrient reuse.
The researchers created new simulations of possible future states, with new closed loops of resource flows within businesses or exchange of resources with external partners.
So when we came to thinking how could we help firms in a practical sense, we came up with the idea of the circular economy maturity model. The idea here is that we're not just thinking about waste elimination and gradual improvement. Here the emphasis is on restoring value to the whole system. And there are 4 steps, if you like. The linear production systems of the 20th century are very much running already, so there's no need to have an emphasis on throughput. Now we're thinking about, on the first step, it's firm value and the 3 R's, reducing, reusing and recycling. And as firms step up a gear, they start to think about value across the supply chain. So they start to connect with customers, suppliers and distributors. On the 3rd level, it's all about governance value. Here, our firms will be helping to shape policy, they'll be sharing ideas for circular products and services across the sector, and non-governmental organisations may start to get involved. At the highest level, step 4, it's about the whole ecosystem. And by this we mean that the whole region is now involved, working across the supply chain with consumers and policymakers. There may even be a regional hub where knowledge can be exchanged between firms. This is the highest level. It involves natural capital, the idea of ecosystem services. Here, by firms working together, they're creating resilience across the region and across the sector. So this is the highest level of circular economy maturity. So this is one of the key outputs of this project. This is our circular economy model for clean growth. This model provides us with possible scenarios for what happens if energy prices begin to rise, for example. What happens if water prices rise, or materials? What happens if there's an issue with labour costs after Brexit? And so all of these scenarios now begin to feed into ideas for working more efficiently, more effectively, but above all, in a system that's more resilient.
But there is already plenty of circular practice going on.
We're walking around the sites of some of these businesses. We saw some excellent practices. We saw the anaerobic digester plants being used, which recaptures value. We also saw heat exchangers being used, which can capture the energy generated from some of the production processes. We also saw solid fuel burners being installed, and this can reuse some of the solids which might otherwise be lost.
Already, the collaboration between the Exeter research team and regional businesses seems to be paying off.
We've kind of helped a bakery set up a new kind of symbiosis with a brewery in the same city, whereby the brewery will take some of that surplus bread to make their own special bread beer. So that's been a really exciting sort of development that's happened during this research project.
From both an economic point of view, a competitive point of view, and a resource point of view, we have to be as absolutely as efficient as we can.
There are a number of little byproducts that, since we started talking with the University of Exeter, things like whey and buttermilk, we found customers for those. We need to be farming in such a way as to be growing crops for the cows to eat. You know, we want to be as sustainable as we can.
The thought process is that I think I just was just a beginning in me 2 years ago when we first got in touch. Those thought processes have really been developing and are, I think, going to guide how this business is going to develop into the future.